Well, hello, everybody. Mackenzie here, coming at you once again this week with more Wicked movie content. That's right. We had the featurette that came out earlier this week, and then today, Wednesday, May the 15th, the birthday of L. Frank Baum, the original writer of the Wizard of Oz series, we have dropped the official first trailer for Wicked. We had the teaser trailer come out at the Super Bowl, and now we have the first official trailer look. And we also had a official poster drop, which you can see behind me here. So what we're going to do, just like we do with the teaser trailer, is we're going to take this shot by shot, break this trailer down, and get into all the plot and all the goodies that are being revealed in this trailer. And we'll make some predictions from stuff that we but maybe don't quite know where it falls in the story, because I still think we did get a few snippet shots of part 2 in there somewhere. So we'll definitely get into that, absolutely. And yeah, as always, spoiler alert, if you don't know the story of The Wizard of Oz or the story of Wicked, then obviously we will be spoiling some of that plot for you as we break this piece down. But what do you say we get into this piece? Here we go. Let's start this up. All right, here we go. So we start from the very beginning. And we open with a line from Ariana Grande's Glinda, which will be said during the No One Mourns the Wicked song, which asks the question of the whole show, which is, are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? Now, when I hear her say this line, I hear a lot of Kristen Chenoweth inflections in this, which would make sense since she did see Kristen Chenoweth play the role of Glinda, and she is a major Kristen Chenoweth fan and friend of Kristen Chenoweth as well. So I'm sure there is quite a bit of Kristen Chenoweth influence in there. So it does make me a little nervous at times, just because I do worry at times with Ariana Grande whether or not she will be able to bring some of the more character depth and complexity that goes into Glinda. As if you don't know, she is the most politically savvy member of this entire show. Throughout the whole piece, if your Glinda is a good Glinda, if you see this on stage, you should always be questioning, where does Glinda's loyalties lie at any given time? Because she lays it out at the beginning of this whole story, which is, it's not about political aptitude, it's the way you're viewed. So it's very, very shrewd to be very, very popular like me. And that right there sums up Glinda entirely. She knows how to play politics, and she knows that's how she gets what she wants. So every action Glinda does in this piece, you should always have in the back of your head of, is this something that she's genuinely feeling for the person, or is she using this person for political or social status in the story? So keep that in mind, because I want to track and see. Well, I guess we won't really know fully until we see this in the movie theaters, but whether or not Ariana Grande has brought this deeper level of complexity to Glinda, because she's my favorite character of the whole story, because she's the most fascinating. She has the line in For Good where Elphaba says, you are my best friend. And Glinda's response is not, you are my best friend. She says, and I've had so many friends, but none that have mattered as much as you. So it can either be played as a genuine sentence or it could be a sidestep. So that right there builds in this concept of, is she going to be truly Glinda the Good by the end of the story? Or was once again she's saying things to keep herself in power? I think Glinda's a fascinating character, so I worry at times whether Ariana Grande will bring that level of acting to this role, or if she will stick more to the traditional comedic interpretation that we've seen of Glinda from some performers. So we will see. Either way, the trailer will open with basically the thematic question of the whole story: are people born wicked, or do they have wickedness thrust upon them? So here we go.
Are people born wicked?
So right there in the opening, we see. So the last time we saw this trailer, I couldn't quite figure out who was riding the horse into Oz, and from what it appears, it's a hooded person. I'm thinking it's either Fiero sneaking into the Emerald City or it's Elphaba sneaking into the Emerald City. But she would have her broom with her, so I don't know who this might be. But I got a feeling it's either Elphaba or it's Fiero.
Born wicked.
And then, of course, we have the shots from the first trailer, which is the melting shot, which I predicted in the last one. I guarantee this will be part of the opening shots of the story, because We will open with this hat and the melted puddle and the destruction of the witch. And then, of course, we then cut to
Or do they
the,
have wickedness thrust upon
the
them?
flying. So that right there is kind of how I think this film will open, because we have that great interpreted and flying monkey sequence in the opening of the overture. And I got a feeling we will have a similar thing where we will see the destruction, the end result of Elphaba's destruction at the hands of Dorothy, and we'll then see the monkey, the flying monkey, potentially Chester, the flying monkey, the main flying monkey, flying off into freedom. But then, of course, now we cut to another great location shot of Shiz. And actually, if you listen through this, I'll play it back and I'll be quiet. But if you listen through this, you'll actually be able to hear a cackle. Now, I don't know if that is supposed to be maybe a metamorable cackle from later on in the story, or if this is supposed to be a distorted Elphaba laugh that we're hearing a bit in the background. So here, I'll take it back. So you see them come in and then listen for the cackle. And then, of course, we get this whole sequence that we know from the first trailer, which is they all show up to Shiz. This is the orientation day. And then, of course, we have the first meeting of Elphaba and Galinda. And of course, we have oh, you're green. I am. That type of sarcastic response that Elphaba is well known to give. So we have that.
You're green.
I am.
Now, we get our first look at the Emerald Universal logo, and then we get the underscore for the song, What Is This Feeling, or Loathing as it's known, which is the post-roommating song of Galinda and Elphaba, where they are having conflicts in their first days at school together, and they're competing with each other, and so we're going to get a whole montage of that. So here we go.
Welcome, new student.
So we get our first look at Galinda arriving, and we see her dad there with her, right? He's right there. We see Galinda arriving from the uplands, the upper uplands, on her boat into Shiz, and of course her dad is played by, let's see if I have the name here, Adam James is playing Galinda's father. So we see him there in the boat, and we see Galinda, just like in the stage show, she is perched on top of her luggage. So we are getting homages to the stage show in their own unique way, which is great. So this will be during this song, Dear Old Shiz, and that may be in the back corridor there. That may be Ethan Slater as Bach arriving there in the little rowboat.
To Shiz.
Now, then, of course, we have something that happens later in the first act, which is the arrival of Theo, because he's not there in orientation. He arrives late to the semester. We have the wonderful Jonathan Bailey walking in. We see a newspaper with his face on it there. He's already making all the girls and men swoon for him, which is great. And of course, he's going to get matched up with Galinda very quickly, because once Galinda seeks him out and kind of locks that down, because once again, she sees the political, societal benefits of being with him as he is, which is something we don't really get into in the stage show, but he is a Winky prince. And so he does come from a lineage of wealth and power in his own right from Winky country. So Galinda definitely sees him as not only a attractive person, but also a socially viable partner as well. So we see all the people greeting Fiero.
University, Miss Elphaba.
And then, of course, we cut back to the orientation scene where we're seeing Elphaba meet Madame Marble, who we've heard talk through this whole montage in the opening, where she's saying all the lines about welcome to Shiz, and she's going to be the professor of sorcery. And she only takes a select few into her seminar. And Galinda has tried to get in with her essay, Wands, Need They Have a Point? And she is rejected at first.
You can.
And then, of course, there's the great Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible. Wonderful Michelle Yeoh. Oscar winner Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible, who was a personal pick by John M. Chu to play this role. He personally sought her out and convinced her to take on the role of Madame Morrible, which I thought was fascinating casting, because she was never on my list of actresses at the time who I would have thought to play Madame Morrible, but the minute they announced her, I went, brilliant. Of course, you go with Michelle Yeoh for this role. She just brings such a quality about her, a stoic quality, that you just go, yeah, she has power.
With Miss Galinda.
And then, of course, we have Galinda doing her, oh goodness, her kind of faint moment there.
Popular.
And then, of course, we get our first lines of the song Popular, the Glinda favorite song that everybody knows and loves. I personally like her Act 2 song better, thank goodness. I think that's a more complex song, but I do think Popular has a deeper lyrical textual meaning if you actually read into what she's telling Elphaba and kind of giving her the roadmap of what you actually have to do to gain power in this world. It's not just about aptitude; it's the way you're viewed, and that's why Glinda's going to give her a makeover, but not in this sequence. This is their first time entering into the room. We saw a bit of the lead up to this moment in the featurette that came out, where we see her knock and the little eye hole appear in the eye hole, and this will be part of that longer sequence. And we see, once again, pretty beautiful production design as well in this, and just absolutely incredible for that there. So we see, so we see here that, yeah, that they've created this beautiful pink and brown and this rich colored suite. So once again, we've expanded the room from the stage, which was just a bedroom with 2 beds, dorm, and now she had a full suite given to her.
I know about.
And then, of course, all the pink. I love it. It's so much fun. Great character design in here.
Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Do you really?
And of course, you get the first look at where Elphaba is going to be sleeping.
I think this is fair.
I do not.
It is kind of like the perfect little spot to stick her. It's kind of like if you ever watch The Office, there's the great episode with Michael Scott where you find out that Jan has made Michael sleep on like the little end table at the end of their bed, the little hutch. And that's kind of where they've stuck Elphaba. It's great. Once again, just setting up that dynamic between the two of them. It's wonderful. I can't wait to see more scenes in this room.
I was promised a private.
A great high kick. Once again, we're getting way more space. Like, this is a suite of spaces that she has taken over. And of course, all in pink. I mean, between this and Barbie, I mean, no wonder there was a shortage of pink, the tone of pink in the world.
Sweet, but thanks for asking.
And of course, we get a great shot of Glinda sailing around on the chandelier, and this is all during the Popular sequence because we get this first part where we see her hair has come down. So we see, like, once again, the hair has been dropped. This is after the party at the Ozdust Ballroom. They've come back, and now they're having a bit of a meeting of the roommates, and Glinda's doing her best. She's giving her a chance to, elevate herself and giving her this makeover. And so we get to see Glinda kind of manipulating this. And then of course now we have a gym class. It looks like there's some type of aerobic class here because we see them kind of dueling it out. So this will probably be part of that "What is this feeling?" loathing song sequence, part of that montage. So that'll be a lot of fun to see them in this. This is probably like a fencing club or something like that, some type of combat class because it looks like they're doing like bow staff work. And of course, we get more of this sequence because we see them running into class. And at the same time, we see the ensemble doing their own choreographies. Once again, this would be toward the end of the song where you have Glinda and Elphaba doing the "What is this feeling so sudden and new?" And then you have the chorus doing the "Loathing, unadulterated loathing." It'll be that whole sequence there, and they're competing for their chair. And we see them bumping each other, which is great. And we get that. And it's a very similar choreography to what happens in Stage Show, where Glinda comes downstage and kind of hip checks Elphaba at one point. It's really nice. And then, of course, we get the end of the song, which I guarantee will probably be part of that bump, 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 ba-dum, boo, done, and out. So that'll be that moment there. And we see, once again, that the little button in the cackle. Once again, the witch's cackle that Elphaba has. Great.
Please.
And then now we're heading into a classroom scene, and we get our first look at Peter Dinklage as the goat professor, Doctor Dillamond.
Everyone take.
There he is there. So in this one, they've made him into a full-on goat. While on the stage show, it's more anthropomorphic, which then makes what happens to him in the second part of the story that much more tragic in the way he is treated by society in the second half. But in this first half, they've made it very clear that he is a 4-legged walking goat, and he's voiced by the wonderful Peter Dinklage.
Your seats.
Now, this is probably a shot where probably he will show up a little bit more in there, but probably haven't finished putting all that in because I don't see him in the background of this shot. But we also see on the desk, we see poppies, which we know later on Glinda or Alphabet will enchant to knock everybody out. And actually, you can see, I believe that is Alphabet right in the back there. You can see a bit of that tinge of green as well.
Your seats. In today's
And then, of course, we have the training wand scene from Popular, where Glinda tries to turn the simple white frock of Elphaba's into a beautiful ball gown. And of course, it's a training wand, so it will not do what it's supposed to do. But I love the two dressing gowns here. Like, it is just so wonderfully lush with character, with the pink and the frills. So you get your own kind of version of that frilly outfit that Glinda wears. And of course, you have that kind of straight-laced look of Alphabet. It's great. But then she has her hair down, which is nice too. And sure, of course, she has the pink flower in her hair still, which she will ultimately be giving to Alphaba as well.
does a real sorcerer who possesses
And of course, Glinda's trying to make it work. It's not working.
true magic has
Now, of course, we get a whole new scene. This is a scene that was never in the stage show. And it is a scene where we see Madame Morrible doing her sorcery seminar with Alphaba. Now, this could be the scene where maybe Alphaba says, hey, let's let Glinda in on this, She's done something nice for me. I think we should let her in on these. She really wants to do it. I think she'd be a good student for us. And maybe that's when that sequence will happen. We see this whole training sequence. We see Alphaba has a lot of power. Now, this is a really cool shot. So, if you know anything about Wizard of Oz, there is a great promo shot of Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West, and she is doing the kind of that claw look, and they got the shadow of the witch behind her. And so it's that, and so you see the claw being recreated here as well. It's a really great homage to, once again, Margaret Hamilton, Wizard of Oz. I love it.
too rare.
Of course, she sends a object flying, breaks some glass, and we then see her enjoying some of that magic power again, probably during Wizard and I, because we saw a sequence where she ends up on a cliffside at the end of that song, so it's probably her getting over there. And we see Alphaba getting upset, and so she enchants the poppies to knock everybody out so she can escape the class with Fiero and the Lion Cub. Because we will see Glinda and everybody else getting knocked out here. So we see Alphaba's powers in full force. So we see the poppies.
That was you who made all that happen.
We see the class getting knocked out, except for Fiero, because Alphaba somehow stops Fiero from getting enchanted by these poppies. But we see Glinda. And of course, this is the keys are all part of the roommate sequence where Nessa Rose is being taken away from Alphaba. Nessa Rose is being Alphaba's sister. And so Alphaba gets upset and she summons Nessa Rose back to her in the stage show. The wheelchair kind of wheels itself back. And this is going to be a much more magical sequence where Alphaba's going to make a whole bunch of things happen. So we see keys. We see Nessa Rose being lifted into the air. We see Kial Sottle as the new character of Mrs. Coddle, who is like another professor here at Shiz. She's freaking out. You then also have Glinda over there. You can spot her because she's not in the Shizian blue. She's in her own shades of pink. And we see Alphaba summoning her sister back over to her. Everything lifts up. Everybody freaks out.
Did you do it?
We see part of this sequence here. I guess this would be part of the move-in sequence where Alphaba is moving some of the suitcases and Glinda. And I think this dialogue conversation about it was you who caused the magic. How did you do it? And Alpha says, I don't know. I think this will be part of this move-in sequence that we saw a little bit earlier as well.
I don't know. I've never known.
And of course, the door slams, and we see some magic by Alphaba once again, ripping down some stonework.
You.
And we see the aftermath of her actions by how much the orientation area is destroyed. But we see Madame Morrible, who once again is politically savvy like Glinda, clicking in that Alphaba's got power, and she's going to use that in her own way. And we see Bo and Yang in the background there waiting for Glinda. And we also see with Bo and Yang, we see Bronwyn James, who will play Shen Shen, who is another one of Alphaba's friends as well. And we see Ethan Slater over here as Bach. And Glinda thinks, oh, it's going to be me. It's going to be me.
Of course.
Not you. You.
And then, of course, we now get the evening shot. This will be part of the I'm Not That Girl sequence, because this will be after the Lion Cub potentially, because we saw Elphaba sitting on the bench in the evening.
You're the one the wizard has been waiting.
And I love that they set up a bigger prophecy that the wizard is needing an all-powerful sorcerer to help, and Elphaba is the one that's the answer to his problems. And we see her training Elphaba to control the magic.
For.
And then this is neat. This is also part of the what is this feeling sequence, because we see Madame Morrible and Elphaba doing their own thing up above. And then down below, we see Glinda and the gang looking up and being none too happy that Elphaba is getting what she wants and Glinda is not. So Glinda is sitting out with the what is this feeling loathing, with this conflict between the two.
Glinda?
Ew.
Okay, so then we get a great look at Bo and Yang and Bro and James as Shen Shen. So we'll just take it back here. And we get this moment from the stage show, which is they find the hat. Now, in the stage show, it just says it was a gift. I couldn't give it away to someone because it's so ugly. I couldn't hate anyone that much. In this one, they've tied it into that. It's Glinda's grandmother's hat, and that's why she hasn't given it away to anyone. But we see the wonderful Bo and Yang, who's kind of channeling. It feels like a bit like David Rose from Schitt's Creek in there a bit, which is great. And then, of course, they're getting ready to go out to the Ozdust Ballroom party.
Ew. I know. It's my granny's. I'd give it away, but I don't hate anyone that much.
And what I love here is if you listen to the moment under the score here, actually, if we go right back to even before that, we go right into here. So we get that big cymbal crash, and then what we get is the instrumental for No One Mourns the Wicked. So we get that great energy about it.
One the wizard has been waiting for.
Glinda?
Ew. I know. It's my granny's. I'd give it away, but I don't hate anyone that much.
Now, what's neat here is we just heard Glinda speak, and she doesn't quite have that accent anymore. It sounds like maybe she's dropped into her voice a bit more, which is nice. So maybe we'll be getting two different voices that Glinda puts on at any given time. We see Glinda being a classic mean girl with her two friends. And of course, I love that we have this big orchestral, No One Mourns the Wicked moment. And then, of course, then we get a record scratch because she says, I don't hate anyone that much. And then, of course, in walks Elphaba.
Hey.
And just that snarkiness is great. They almost remind me of the evil stepsisters from Cinderella. I love it.
You should join us tonight. And don't tell me you have nothing to wear. Because you could wear this.
And then, of course, we'll get the whole moment of, it's really sharp, don't you think? You know, black is this year's pink. You deserve each other, this hide in you. You're both so smart. We deserve each other, so here, out of the goodness of my heart. We get that moment there, which is great. And of course, Elphaba's left alone, and she ends up going to the party. Now we see Marissa Bodie there in the background as Nessa Rose, along with Ethan Slater as Bach. And of course, very upsettingly, Elphaba's being set up for more ridicule and to be made fun of at this party by wearing her outfit in this hat. And we get lines directly from the stage show where Fiyero comments that it appears Elphaba doesn't let anything upset her, but Glinda, once again, being smart and perceptive of people, knows Elphaba better and goes, no, she does feel it. She just hides it very well.
Has changed within me.
And of course, we saw some of these shots in the teaser. And of course, then we get the Defying Gravity music as well, which once again ties in with Elphaba being defiant of anybody's opinions about herself. And of course, we also get the wonderful horn doing the Unlimited theme as well in there too.
She doesn't give a twig what anyone thinks.
Something is not the same. Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
And of course, they dance and they get a big hug.
The
And
wonderful
Elphaba
Wizard of
finds
Oz.
some crickets. Now, this is really neat. So here, once again, we have the whole gang of people. We have Ethan Slater as Bach there, and then we also have Marissa Bodie as Nessa Rose in there as well. we see Galinda and Elphaba, as well as Madame Morrible. And unlike in the stage show, where in the stage show, Madame Morrible just walks on stage with the invitation in her hand, this, of course, we get a wonderful bit of fun with the wizard sending his own message invention the way of this little animatronic hot air balloon, which once again ties in great with the wizard's mythology of, the wizard arriving in Oz in his balloon. And we'll get that in the Emerald City sequence with the Wizamania song that they do as part of a city show for Elphaba and Galinda. And then I love that we actually get to see what it says, and it says, an invitation from His Royal Ozness, the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz. You are summoned most ceremoniously to his personal palace in the Emerald City. So I love how we all the Ozianified words here. It's great. We get this great bit of invitation
To the Emerald City.
And of course, we get our look at the train. We see everybody saying goodbye to people on the platform. And then, of course, we have Galinda doing the I'm not coming with you. Elphaba says, come with me. And then, of course, Galinda and Elphaba go together to the Emerald City.
With me. What? To meet the wizard.
Why couldn't tell me? This is your moment. I'm coming.
Of course, we get some great production shots of the Emerald City. I love it. I also love how we get animal motifs throughout. Like we have these great kind of feathery motifs and this very Rococo style, over the top design. Once again, the wizard just being big and grand. He's created this city that is just gorgeous. And then, of course, we get brought into the wizard's chamber. And what's neat here is we see Chestery leading them in, but then we have all these monkey guards who ultimately will become the flying monkeys, thanks to Elphaba's spell she's going to cast.
I am Oz the Great. I'm terrible.
Of course, we get the great look at the wizard's head. Once again, this thing of gears and metal, this kind of faux magic that the wonderful wizard puts together. And what's neat here is we get the riff, but then we get the riff again at the end. So it's interesting they put it in twice. And of course, we get these shots again of the monkeys. Now, I don't know if this will be a part 1 or part 2 shot, because we know in part 2 that Elphaba and the wizard make a deal and the monkeys are set free. But we also see a shot later on that we see Madame Morrible sending the flying monkeys after Elphaba. So we get these two moments here. So I don't know if this will all be part of part 1 or if we're getting a quick, brief look into part 2. Because it looks like we're going to have a bigger chase scene between Elphaba, Galinda, and the Ozzy and the wizard's guards after she runs away from the wizard when she finds out the truth of who the wizard really is.
Something bad is happening in Oz.
And I love that we get some wonderful shots here of the monkeys becoming the flying monkeys.
The best way to...
And of course, then we get a look at Galinda in her bubble machine as she arrives in kind of this winky munchkiness gland. This will be part of No One Mourns the Wicked, the opening part where they do the look, it's Galinda, and then of course she sails down on the bubble to meet them.
Bring folks together is to give them a real good enemy.
And I love that as we're hearing the wizard reveal his sinister plan of what brings the people together is a good enemy, we have this illusion, this bubble being popped by Galinda. And it's that same type of energy of you think it's one way, but then your world is just popped.
A real good enemy.
And then, of course, then we get the two witches together, Galinda and Elphaba singing the Defying Gravity chorus together, and we get to see the wizard propaganda machine coming out in full force as we see their posters dropping about beware the wicked witch. And there she is there. They've turned her into a villain, a good enemy, as it were, against the people of Oz that they can use to scare and manipulate the people into doing what they want. And of course, we saw some drone shots that were filmed when they were filming out in the countryside in England of them burning a witch's statue. And of course, now we're getting to see it live. And it's just scary. It's wonderfully scary that we have these people who are, are burning effigies of Elphaba, this witch, and it's like, it's a very scary look at society and the way that they can be manipulated to doing some really horrible and believing some horrible things. But I love this whole shot here is beautiful with the burning witch and the little town. And we got the tulip fields in the background. So once again, those kids running through the tulip fields, I think will definitely be part of that opening number. And of course, this will be right after the wizard has had his first meeting with Elphaba and Glinda, and he goes, "Oh, it's you," and he steps up from behind, being Mr. Nice Guy.
You have no real power.
And then, of course, so this is the one thing I'm not the biggest fan of, is them outright revealing the wizard's secret, because they did this when they did Into the Woods, where they revealed one of the greatest lines in the show, which is, "I was raised to be charming, not sincere," and revealing that the Prince Charming is not as charming or is not as good as he appears to be. And they're doing the same thing here, where they're revealing really early on that, yes, the wizard has no real power. And yes, if you know the Wizard of Oz story, the great line, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, or pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, because he has no power in that way, and that he manipulates people in that. But just once again, it's going to get more into this concept of politicians not really being as powerful as you think they are. But I wish they maybe would have kept this a little bit more concealed and just maybe played more into something goes wrong with the Elphaba and the wizard, and ergo she gets labeled the Wicked Witch, and we keep it the bigger secret hidden for now. But they revealed it, so be it. But it's a great kind of reveal of just, you see the tragedy in Cynthia Erivo's face of she is seeing this hero that she's had, this wizard and I, that she thought they would work together, and she's seeing that dream fall apart. And I love a good mob shot with a battering ram breaking down the door. It's just like Kill the Beast and Beauty and the Beast, where we have the guards really ramming the door. And actually, if you look at the head on the battering ram, let's see, what is it? Let's see, do we get a good shot of it? There. Looks to be almost like another animal head of some kind, like maybe a goat or a ram, something like that. Once again, great production design though, and just this, once again, the armies are coming for it. And this will be part of this larger chase sequence that we're going to get during the lead up to Defying Gravity, because we see them breaking down the doors as they're escaping into this tower.
That's
and
why
then
I
they go
need
up the stairs. And then another great shot of Jeff Goldblum where he does the whole "I need you" situation. That's why I need you, because I'm not as powerful as people think I am, so I need you to help me. Once again, the deal with the devil. And then, of course, we have the wonderful Michelle Yeoh's Madame Morrible again, and another great costume. She's going to have some of the best costumes in this movie. But here she is. She's summoning the flying monkeys to do the bidding and go after Elphaba.
Don't let her get away!
But then we get this bigger sequence where they end up in a hot air balloon at one point. So I don't know what part of Defying Gravity this is going to be, or if this is going to be the lead up to right before we get the "I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy now. I hope you're happy how you hurt your paws forever. I hope you think you're clever." I wonder if that'll be, the chase will lead into this moment, but it looks like we'll have a longer chase sequence, because in the stage show, they just run off stage one way and come back through the trapdoor as if they'd been on the run for a hot minute there in the palace. We see them escape in a hot air balloon, which is great, because that is how the wizard came. That is his hot air balloon.
This wicked.
And of course, we get the great line that Madame Morrible says at the end of Act 1. Believe nothing she says, this distortion, this repulsion, this wicked witch. Just the way Michelle coldly says that line. And here we have this professor, this person who has taught Elphaba how to control some of her magic, and she is now branding her this, once again, media spin master, this wicked witch. And we get some shots from the teaser there. Once again, we get the shots of the kids in the tulip field. We get Fiyero and Elphaba after they let the lion cub go. We see the scratch on his face there. And of course, we get some more of the Defying Gravity song with "So if you care to find me, look to the western sky." Now, this is great here. So, we've got a few moments here. So let's see. So let's break this down. So we have a few things. So we have, first thing is we see Elphaba using the Grimoire for the first time. And this will be where she casts a spell that gives Cheshire and the other monkeys the wings. And then we cut to the next shot, which is right when toward the end of Defying Gravity, when they've now. Okay, so it looks like here. Okay, so it looks like we have a few things going on. So we have this moment here of the Grimoire being cast. Then we have some type of explosion happening. So maybe some type of firework that Elphaba sets off to distract them as she escapes out the window. We see Madame Marble has caught up and has caught Glinda. So Glinda's going to be sticking around. She's made the choice. And then we also see some more fireworks stuff happening here. So maybe this moment of Goldblum looking around at this destruction is not tied in with the press machine blowing up that we saw in the teaser trailer, but this will be part of the end of the movie where the monkeys are free to hunt Elphaba down, and we have Elphaba setting off some type of explosion, sort of firework in the tower, causing some destruction. So yeah, we'll see where this moment comes from. I still have a feeling that maybe this will be a part 2 moment. And then I think this is the beginning of the movies, because we get with the tower in Winkyland. I forget the name of the place, but basically it's one of the palaces that Fiero owns that he sends Elphaba off to hide away. That's where Dorothy is, melts the witch, and then of course we saw that opening where the monkey breaks through the window and flies away. I got a feeling this will be part of that same opening sequence. And then of course we get once again the great shot of Elphaba doing the hand thrust out. And what's neat here, so we see there, it looks like maybe some type of popcorn, it says, something potables there. And we got some circus equipment. So we got some type of, ringmaster center stage thing. But then if you look right here on the side, we got the suitcase that says Oscar Diggs, who is the real name of the wizard. And then we have Omaha, I think that is, Nebraska. So once again, the Midwest is where he comes from. And so we have his bags right there that reveal the truth. Then, of course, we get the broom. The Wonderful Witch's broom. So they've gone so stuck at the top of the tower. There's no way out, except they've cast a spell, and now there's a broom.
Don't be afraid.
Now, this is a neat shot. So we will get some type of flashback of a very young Elphaba as a child. Maybe this will be the first moment her magic is revealed, is in this moment of frustration with the other kids, because we see them there. So we see this moment right there. Yeah. Poor young Elphaba, getting bullied already. We see her remembering that moment. Now, I don't know if this will be the same moment, or if this will be a flashback of when she's in with Madame Marble, and they're talking about you're growing up in the magic, and we'll get a flashback to Elphaba as a child in that moment, and this is her just having a similar moment of reflection in the Ozdust ballroom sequence. And then we get some more great shots of them burning the witch's effigy there. They've even painted green. They've even painted the face green, like just a dark mob of people there. And we see them holding hands before they go in to see the wizard. And then we get, once again, this great moment of, why, Miss Elphaba, you're beautiful. Pink goes good with green because we have the pink flower now in Elphaba's hair. So this will be the end of Popular before Elphaba runs off. And of course, she catches the broom, which we saw in the last trailer.
I'm not afraid.
And this is part of this Defying Gravity, but it's in a different area of the tower. So it's probably right after they've heard Michelle Yeoh say with the line of Wicked Witch, because Glinda has the line of "Don't be afraid," and then she has the line, "I'm not as the wizard who should be afraid of me." And of course, we get this great
It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
She breaks through the window, sails off to the part 2. So now we know that it's going to be in Dolby Cinema, real 3D, IMAX, and it's all coming out on Thanksgiving. So there you go. All right. Wonderful. And that's the end of the trailer. So that is that. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little breakdown. Lots of predictions, lots of good stuff in there. Can't wait to see what's going to come next. We'll probably have to wait till the end of the summer for anything new to roll around, since they've kind of already got that. But the one cool thing is, if you go on Instagram, you can apply to Shiz University. If you look up Shiz, they now have their own page. So you can apply to go to Shiz as well. That's a fun little gag there they've done, but a fun bit of marketing. But that's it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, Mackenzie Horner here before the downbeat. Thank you to Mr. Brody Weld for our wonderful theme music, and we will be back next week on the podcast revealing what our season finale episode will be. Hint, it includes a killer bunny. There you go. All right. We can't wait to have you back for more wicked content and more good podcasting all about musicals. Follow me at Mackenzie Horner, all social media platforms. Follow my other theater antics over a cup of Hemlock Theater, where we discuss all types of goodies. And we can't wait to see you all in that next episode. We'll see you then. Stay healthy, stay safe, and, defy gravity. There you go. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.